Getter. Visit.
खाली
यस सर.
खाली वाली को जाएगी.
अभी मैं उसको थोड़ा सा क्या किया,
लाइव सर.
बट प्राइवेटली किया है.
हाँ सर,
तो
मेमोरी
अभी
नहीं
मेरा
जाएगी.
मेमोरी नहीं जाएगा. अभी मैं होशियार हूँ. ये प्रॉब्लम दे रहा था अपने पास सॉल्यूशन से.
यस सर.
Yes. So I just start this. Because we have so many things here. Otherwise, I have to skip and you have to self-learn the things. Okay, if we are taking this much time, so it will be a very much difficult actually.
डिलीट कर देते हैं. कर रहा हूँ, कुछ ही कर रहा हूँ.
Don't start your systems. It's not required now. You can try it later even after understanding. Yes?
बहुत जल्दी.
You can make the notes so that will help you. Directly trying and just running here, discussion gone. Only stick with that. So your focus will be not here. So be focused in the session. Yes?
नहीं सही है. नहीं
Hang मत
करेंगे
कर.
करेंगे भाई. अरे आराम से. क्या तो हर चीज.
अरे तो अच्छा है.
नहीं.
डिम करने से वो
नहीं डिम करने आ रहा था दिखता.
सही नहीं.
फोकस होगा.
आँख बंद
बस
करके
बस कर.
Focus.
फोकस. ठीक क्यों रहा है?
Be
प्रोजेक्टर को थोड़ा साइड पे.
Okay. So in overall discussion, okay, we have started with the spring core. In the spring core, very important mechanism we observed, that is what the inversion of control mechanism. So what we have discussed about the inversion of control mechanism? Very simply, okay, run a time. That means that we as a developer, we are not going to create the object for the classes. Okay, so something is there, that is what we observe the container. Container is responsible to create the object. Container is responsible to create the object of a classes. So, and then make that available to the runtime. Make that classes available to the runtime. And that is nothing but the inversion of control mechanism. So, in the tight coupling, in the composition kind of relationship, we observe, okay, we have to create the object of the class, other dependent class inside. So that object creation logic, okay, we have put it into that. So as I created object of employee compulsory, the dependent object, that address we have to create. That was the first thing. Second, okay, we removed that dependency with the help of a loosely coupled. So that is what we shifted to the aggregation. In aggregation, no doubt, we have not created object, but in the constructor, we pass that object and this dot that particular object is equal to, through that one we have maintained. But still, in the loosely coupled aggregation scenario, what was the problem?
We need to create object.
There, still it sticks to the object creation logic. That means that in the tester classes, we have to create
Yes,
object
sir, we need to create
explicitly, and then, okay, we have to pass
it.
whenever we are creating the object of the employee. So that was the problem again. So now, what I want that, I'm not interested to create the object. I want someone there should be who is going to create object for me and will provide to the runtime. And I can only use that object created by someone and I can use. So that someone is nothing but the container we observe. That someone is nothing but the container. So we observe the two containers. First one, bin factory. And second one is the application context. I already told you, application context is built on the top of bin factory. So whatever there on the bin factory, that is available to the application context. Okay, with the extra features like internationalization. So here we should always go for the application context only, not the bin factory. And all the examples we will try by using the application context. So very simply, in this one, like whenever we are going to create or achieve the inversion of control mechanism, okay, it can be achieved by the two ways we say. What are the two ways?
Application
Depend-
context and build factory.
These are the containers. These are the containers. So from that one we have selected only one.
Yes.
Which one? Application context. But again I said the inversion of control can be achieved by the two ways. One,
Configuration files, dependency.
dependency injection
Injection.
and the auto
Auto
while.
while.
Dependency injection. So in the dependency injection, there are the two things needed we observed. Okay, forget about the auto wiring. We are going to implement the dependency injection. Already we have implemented. So in the dependency injection, two things are there. One is the container. Second one is the configuration file. That's it. Only two things are there. Okay, by added the dependencies, we'll get all these classes. So in that case, configuration file contains the
Contains
beans. You observe what it contains? The class, fully qualified name of a class,
and
which
properties.
object should be managed by the container. And their ID was there. What was that ID?
ID referencing.
ID was the reference
Class.
name. That means that if object of this class is created by the container, object of this class is created by the container, through which name we are going to refer that. So that was the ID. Then in between we used some internal child properties. What are that? Property, name value. So in that name, what was the name?
Variable.
That was the data member name of your class, bean
Class.
class. So in a bean class, whatever the names you guys have given, here that should be exactly same. If we have the employee class which should be managed by the container, we have the employee ID, employee name and the salary. Same name should be given in the property as the employee ID name and the salary. And values, whatever the value you are going to specify, that you are going to put into the double quotation. Accordingly, it will convert. Yes or no? So that configuration we can put into the configuration file. So all the classes which must be get managed by the container, we are going to make it as the bean classes. All these classes are called as a bean classes because these are the simple POJO classes. Yes?
Yes,
And
sir.
that we have configured with the fully qualified name and the ID. That's it. Now whenever we are running that one, we are going to use the application context. Okay, application context and their implementation class of that. XML application context. Yes?
Yes,
So
sir.
by using that one in a bracket, what we are going to give? Path.
Path.
We are going to give the path of that configuration file. Okay, if in the Eclipse we can create the separate folder and there even we can put okay, if your project have by default created the resources folder, even there you can put ultimately motive is what? We should get that file. Okay, so if we have explicitly created the folder, then entire path should be given. Okay, and if we have not given any, okay, we have put it into the default directory. Then directly file name you can give and it will work fine. Yes or no? Yes. So that is what the part actually we have observed. For that one, we have added the two dependencies. One,
Spring core.
Spring core.
and a spring context. That's it. We don't need anything. Okay. So even if it is not working for you, don't worry. Okay. As the setup is ready, you can do that. It is the chiller one. Nothing is there. Yes or no? Agrees. Now, do you have any questions, doubt till here? No? Okay. So here one point I miss while discussing here. Okay, into the Spring configuration file, I use the property tag.
Yes, sir.
In the XML configuration, I use the property. Okay, so that in the property we set the value. So how that values get set? Mayuri,
Getters.
how it will be get set? You was not here that time. Getter setter. Setter only. Setter only. So that means that internally, when container creates the object, okay, so it will invoke the setter methods
Yes,
of your bean class, and whatever the value you have put it, that will be goes there automatically. So how it comes to know about that? So because already we have given the names
Yes, sir.
of your that
Set
data
method.
members. So through that it comes to know that okay, I have to go to this particular method. Okay, setter method, and it will set the values. And because of that, we this dependency injection we call it as the setter injection. So dependency injection is again achieved by two ways. Dependency injection is achieved by the two ways. One,
Build factory.
Many setter getters.
dependency injection will be get achieved by two ways. One, setter injection. One setter injection because internally it invokes the setter method. So for that your B class should have the setter methods. If you don't have the setter methods,
It's
it will
not
not work. So property that which we applied, okay, compulsory internally we should have the setter methods. Now coming to the new. Now there is the second way to achieve the dependency injection mechanism. Second way is achieve the dependency mechanism. That is what the constructor injection. Before that, setter injection. Next, constructor injection. So that we can just simply observe here. Okay, depend how are the values address line. Okay, that we have discussed. Ability of a Spring container to manage the instance and provide back to the code when needed is called as a dependency injection. Okay. Okay. So this is what the second way. See what is here? Dependency injection with the help of the constructor injection. So what it is said? Spring framework can use the constructor to inject the dependencies. Spring framework can use the constructor to inject the dependencies. Dependencies injected using the constructor are the mandatory dependencies. Without passing them to instances for the class cannot be created. So here dependencies are created first and then injected to the other instances via the constructor. Other instances via the constructor. So dependencies are injected based on the order of the data type present into the constructor. So that means that here what you guys have to do only?
Constructor.
We have to create the constructor into the bin class. In our case we have the employee class. We have the employee class. So employee class should have the constructor to set the value. So we have the employee ID, we have the employee name, we have the employee salary. Order is important. Order is important. So here, whenever we are creating the bin into the configuration file, this way we can do. It is the alternative approach. Either you can use the property, that means or through the setter injection, or you can go through the constructor injection. Okay, so here you can observe bin ID is equal to, okay, we have given the name as an employee object. Okay, class name com Bhavna, employee, fully qualified name of the bin class. Okay, and then here we have to use the constructor arg. We have to use the constructor arg. Okay, and there we have to put the values. Constructor value, okay, constructor arg value, and forget about this. Okay, first one line. That reference it is used. That means what? It is dependent. If we have the employee, and in that employee, if we have the address object. In the employee, if we do have the address object, then that will be get injected by this one. That we can discuss. But here, basic with a very single object, we are trying, or with a single class, we are trying. So if we have the employee, okay, in that one we have the 3 parameters. I want to achieve that through this one. I want to achieve that through this one. So that we can try. That we can try with the constructor. With the constructor, just we have to put this one. So for example, if I goes here, okay, if I goes here, okay, in this, okay, we have the employee. Now in the employee class, I want the constructor. I have to write the constructor. So you can observe here, in that I will just right click simply, okay, in the sources, okay, I will generate the constructor here using the field. Okay, all fields should be there. Generate the constructor. Here is my constructor. Okay, employee ID, name and the salary. Okay, this dot like this one. Okay, I will create the empty constructor too. Okay, so that there will be no problem. So here I am creating the constructor, generate constructor. Okay, deselect all the values, and now my constructor is ready. So I have created the 2 constructors. I have created the 2 constructors. That's it. Here remember what is the order I have put it here? Employee ID, name and the salary. Employee ID, name and the salary I have put it. Now I have to write the dependency. Okay, I have to add the configuration related to this into the configuration file. So now what I can do simply, okay, I just go here. Okay, I can copy this one code because I need this bin. Control C. Okay, we'll go here into this one. Where is my configuration file? Here, and you can put inside the bins only. Inside the bin, okay, I can write here Control V.
ले लिया मैंने.
Okay, I can put this one. What? Array.
So it's already closed.
Bin na? I need to close the bin ID.
Bin also closed.
Okay, where it is?
So maybe at that constructor आग रही
सर नीचे तो खोलो.
Huh? Employee ID class employee constructor R
आग.
constructor R and this is the bin.
Sir, it should be under beans.
It is under the bins only na?
Yes sir, it is.
तो वो कंस्ट्रक्टर आ गया. कंस्ट्रक्टर पहला वाला.
Okay, constructor R reference actually it is not there.
Yes sir.
सचिन ऊपर. सेकंड वाला आपने क्लोज नहीं किया सर. कंस्ट्रक्टर आ.
This one.
सेकंड.
Second answer closed.
Okay, but it is giving here the value of
Sir, it is
attribute
closed.
class.
Value.
So the cost of
Huh?
double left.
Double quotation.
Yes sir.
हाँ.
Okay.
So
Value.
that also quotation. That front
This
quotation.
one.
Yes sir.
Okay. Whenever we are copying from there,
Yes sir. Sachin first also.
it is here. Okay, now there is I think no problem.
सचिन ऊपर है.
Sachin. Huh?
Sachin पहला आएगा sir. और name.
Okay,
order.
I given here 101 3000. Okay, like that one, and we'll check is it working because I'm not following the order. Yes or no? Here I put it. This 101 is what?
Employee ID.
Employee ID. This is what?
Salary.
Salary, and this is what?
Name.
Name. Okay, like that one we are going to put the, and we'll try this one. Okay, otherwise it will control X and we'll go to here control V, control shift F. Okay. So here I just tried this. Now the object which I have created, it is the EMP object. Okay. So that I have to go to the test employee. Here is my tester class. There I want to create. So here exactly same by using EMP. Okay, here I can just put this one control V. Okay, get bin. Okay, here get bin, and here what was the object name? EMP. EMP object. Okay, exactly same name which we have given over there. Okay, now it should be get converted to here. EMP3 must be there. Okay, or the 2. Okay, here 2 will be there, and I'm just going to display that 2. Okay, I did this. Now you can observe. It will go to the constructor. It will go to the constructor. I just, for the sake of understanding, I will put one message over here. Sys out in a
Constructor.
in a parameterize. In parameterized constructor. In a parameterized constructor. Exactly same. Okay, I will write the control C. You can observe here that we have the empty constructor too. So there too I just put here control V, and it is the non-parameterized constructor. We'll check. Is it going there? So I just tried this one. You can see.
Yes.
And here I use the mixed dependencies. Like I use the properties. Okay, I use the constructor. So property will go to the setter. So in any one setter, I just trying to write this here. So get ID or the set ID. Where is the set ID? Here I am going to put here sysout in a setter. Okay, in a setter. Okay, like this one I just put it. Okay, and now I am trying to execute this one. You can observe what exactly happening to this. Yes.
Class not.
Class not found exception in a setter. So first objects are here actually. Okay, we should have the bins. Okay, so dot we have putting here the bins like this one. Control S. Like this one. Control S. Okay, and now we can try. In the non-parameterized constructor. Okay, there. Okay, it was going just by as you create the empty object. As we create the empty object, it goes there. Yes or no? And here, now it is going to display the values. Okay, like this one. And this is the value set by the constructor. Getting?
Yes sir.
Yes, what I mean to say here. So this is how exactly we can achieve the dependence injection by using the constructor. So setter injection or the constructor injection. Setter injection or the constructor injection we can run. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Any question, any doubt up to this?
No, sir.
Everyone? Now while doing this one more thing we guys have to achieve. Okay. Here sir, you have created only one class. Only one class object, na employee class. But where is the dependent? That means what? Employee is depend on the department or the address. Any class. So if that is on depend on there, okay, then how the values will be get set over there? That means what? Here like which is I tried over here. Okay, in this one you can observe here. Assume like you have the employee class, and in a employee class we have the address. You have the address as a member. So for example, okay, I am just going to try over here. But before going for that, okay, one more problem actually we want to express over here. So whenever we are trying to go for the constructor injection, whenever we are going through the constructor injection, there is the problem here. So that means what? I just put this Control X, and I am going to put after this Control V. Actually, what is there? Constructor arg value 1. That is the integer employee ID. Second one should be the name, and third one should be the salary. Like this one I am trying. But here order is mismatched. Okay, and still after this order, okay, I want to execute your application. Yes? What it is saying here? Bean creation exception. Error creating bean with the name employee object define the class path resource. Okay, could not resolve the matching constructor. Could not resolve the matching constructor. There is no such a matching constructor. Because first one should be the integer, second one should be the string, and third one should be the double. But here, okay, last, no doubt, other integer can be converted to the double. Okay, there will be no problem. But problem is where? Problem is where string we are trying to assign into the double, and it is giving the problem. No, but as primitive types are involved, there is the problem. Huh? As primitive types are involved, there is the problem. It must be exactly matching. Order must be exactly matching to the constructor. Order must be exactly matching to the constructor. But if it is of type non-primitive, if it is of type object, that employee ID, name and salary, argument to that constructor. If it is of type user defined, in that cases order doesn't matter. Like my employee constructor, how the first object as a department, and second object as a address. Address is the user defined, department is the user defined. So even we shuffle the sequence, it works. It works. There will be no problem to this. Yes? Is it clear? Huh?
Mixed way though. Like some are user defined and some are primitive.
So order should be there. Yes? Otherwise it will get confused. Getting? Yes? So here, whenever we are trying here, now what I want exactly here? Now I want to create the dependency. What is dependency? I do have the employee class, and employee class is depend on the address class. Okay. So that address object I have to manage by? Who is going to create object of address?
Employee.
Again the container will create the object. Container will going to create the object. So if I want address of the object should be created by the container, what I have to do? Children, what I have to do? Just configure into the configuration file by putting a bin ID, class name as address, whatever the fields, it will be create. Now problem is what? That object which is managed by your container, the object which is managed by the container, I have to inject into the employee. I have to inject into the employee because that address is the variable present into the employee class as a data member.
Yes, sir.
So I have to inject that. Again, it can be done by using a setter or a constructor injection. It can be done by using a setter or the constructor injection. So if you use the property, it will go through the constructor. Sorry, it will go to the setter
Setters.
method, and through that one it will be get achieved. And if I use the constructor arg, okay, it will go to the constructor to set the value of which one the dependent object I want to say. But for that one in the configuration file, you have to tell which one object you have to inject. Which one object you have to inject. For example here, assume like into the bin class, I am going to create one new class. Name of the class is address. I have created one class as a address. In that address class, hope everyone with me? Yes. In the address class, I have the two members, private string. Yes. What will be the? Yes. Address line 1. Okay, I just making this one. Okay, and private. I just say string. Address line number 2. That means what? That line number 1, line number 2.
Yes,
I
sir.
can put the here. Now what you have to do here? Nothing. Just create the getter setter here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to go to the getter setter, so you can just observe here into the resources. I have to generate the getter setter for all these two values. Select all. Okay, I done this. I need the toString method. Okay, I just going to do this one. Source. I am going to override the toString method. Okay, which include all. Okay, this is what. And now I want to create object of this class.
Yes, sir.
By the container. How I can do?
Add
Go to the bin factory. Okay, here in this one, what you can do? Either you can through the constructor or you can go through the setter. So I just tried through this one. Okay, Control C, Control V. Okay, here I can give the name as the address. Okay, address. Okay, and here com.bhavna.
Address.
Here address. So if package names are the compatible, easily you can edit the code.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? If you have given anything, so it will be a difficult even for you. So I just change here. Now there are the two properties. What is the property name? Address
Line 1.
line 1. I don't need to check because I have followed the structure here. Okay, I have followed the naming standard. I just write address
Line 2.
Address line 2. I don't need to check here. Okay, third one property not needed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now here what is address line 1? Okay, here Hayat Nagar Road. Yes, like this one. Okay, and here I am just putting a Pune. Like this one we can put
Yes,
okay, two address. This value I have to put into the address. Okay, this value. So whenever you are practicing, I just save this and now I want to get here. Where? Into the test class. Can we get this?
Yes, sir.
Very simply I just copy this one. Okay, I just copy this. I can make Control V. Now my class is address over here. Okay,
Address
name of here address. You can write any. I can write address. Here you have to convert it.
Address.
Yes, like this one. Okay, and here we have the name as a
Address.
address like this. So through that one it is getting. So it is asking me there is a problem. So we'll import the package. Now there is no problem. And here I can display which one?
Address.
Okay, address. Control yes. And basically separate class I created. I have not made any dependencies.
Yes.
And through that one here we are just checking. Is it coming that? Otherwise what you do? You write directly dependencies and then you try to test. Yes. So there will be a what is problem here? Spring does not property, invalid property address line 1. Address line 1 here over here into the this one, address line. Okay.
So
We'll check.
Invalid setter, it's fine.
Setters is
Invalid setters. Why?
I guess we didn't generate setters.
public string.
Generate तो
Return,
किया.
return.
सेव नहीं किया
I have
save
Save नहीं हुआ सर.
saved only na. Okay, this always asks me to save.
Yes, sir.
This one is very Adani. Okay, I just try and rerun this one. New. Okay, and address should be get displayed. But it is giving the error, so we should read the error carefully. Bin creation error, creating the bin with the name employee object, define into the class with resource com Bhavna my bin, could not
employee-
resolve the
employee
matching
object
constructor. I think we
Sir,
have
that
changed.
same error.
So always first read the error.
Error.
Okay, so I just go here, I found that, okay, something I changed, okay, over here, which I have not,
Sir, that last.
okay, here, I think, control, X, this was I changed, na, after
Yes,
that,
sir.
for showing
Order,
purpose.
order, order.
Control yes, okay, and then again I just try to run this, you can observe, you are getting the address line 1, Hayat Nagar Road, Pune.
Pune.
Okay, now my problem get changed. Now my problem get changed. What I want to do into the employee, please see here. Please see here what I'm going to do. I'm making here private
Address.
address and here small address. That means what? I am
Inject.
making the dependency here. Employees depend on the address.
Yes.
Employees depend on the address.
Address.
So loosely coupled. Okay,
Yes,
we
sir.
can try here. Okay, that means what here while creating here we can specify.
We pass object.
Okay, we can specify the address or we can use the setter.
To setters.
We can use the setter. Okay, so I just because I have used the constructor. So what I can do here? I just
Address.
write here the address.
Address.
Address, small address, like this one and a comma. So here 4 parameter I am passing, and in that one I can write a this dot.
Address.
This dot address
Equals
is
address.
equals to
Address.
address. So here loosely coupled thing we are okay. And now problem was creating the object. Now here I am not creating the object. It should be injected here.
Injected.
It should be injected here. So I just did this one. I just did this one. Now going back to the configuration file. Here into the configuration file, you have to tell there that in which object, in which, because how many object you have? How many object you have?
Two.
How many object you have?
3 okay na?
3 object.
object, na?
Okay. 3 employee object. 3 employee object, 1 address object. In this address you have created where you have to inject. Either into the first employee or into the second employee or it is into the third employee. That you have to decide. Yes or no? Because I have only one object of address. Address object is 1, but employee, there are the 3. I have to tell them where I have to inject this. Where I have to inject this one. So, there where I have used the constructor R, there I will tell I want to inject my this address where into this one. So I can simply write here constructor args. Okay, I can just write here constructor arg. Okay, control V. Here now you have to give the reference. You have to give the reference here. So that reference I mentioned over here, you can write this one. You can write this one here. So in that references, okay, in that references, you can just tell them, okay, you can just tell them here, okay, that where, okay, we can just tell them.
Sir, one.
Hmm?
Sir, at the end, 2 quotation. On right. Sir.
Okay, so here that address, this one address, I have to inject over here. So I will write here only this address. Is it done? Now what it does, it will go to the constructor. It will go to the constructor and then through that one it will inject. Getting the, okay. But now I want to inject that one where? I want to inject where? Into the employee. Here too. How I can do that? Okay, for that one I have to use the setter. I have to use the setter. So I can just write here. Okay. I can just write here the property control C. Okay. There I can use the control V. Same object I am trying to inject into the 2. One I tried into the constructor. Now I want to go to the setter over here. So here again I don't have to.
Address.
Yes.
Address.
I can use only the reference. Reference is equals to. Okay, in that one, how I can do that?
Address.
Address only. Okay, I can give only the address, and through that one we can try. Okay, what is the problem? Yes. Is it given here into the properties? Reference.
दिख ही नहीं रहा
स्ट्रीट से फ्राइडे क्या लगता है फ्राइडे को मिलेगा
तो बैठा रहा
constructor here I just
यार ये
have
लग बड़ा सेक्सी रहा है मेरे को लगा था टूटे
property reference address found this one, it is not found here, found here.
6,500
Check the property attribute of the property to get this.
60,000
Yes,
रुको ना भाई उधर किधर कंस्ट्रक्टर डालना पड़ेगा ना भाई एक पूरी क्लास बनानी नई क्लास बनानी पड़ेगी ना एड्रेस क्लास बना दिया तो एड्रेस क्लास नहीं बनाया भाई
हाँ एड्रेस नहीं बनाया
okay, received or no? I will create the setter method and getter method for the object over here. Right click, restore source. Okay, and there I can just simply use getter setter for address. Generate that one because through the
Sir,
property
we
I want
have to add name.
name and
reference.
Okay, so I'm just giving here the name
Name, address.
is equals to.
Address.
Okay, there where you use the address. Okay, and there
double reference
Double D, sir. Space.
double D, and here we have to use only reference or the R reference.
Sir, reference tag.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
is it okay? That means what same address we have created. Yes, mobile. Here what we are trying to do, the object which we have created, we want to inject into the two employee classes. Okay, if it is through the setter method we are trying, we can give the reference over here like this one. Okay, and if we are trying to inject through constructor, we have to write a constructor arg reference like this. And now the dependency will be get resolved. Okay, so I just again save this. I change my employee, so save this. Okay, what I change again? Nothing. Okay, so I just tried. Okay, and we'll execute this. Now I am going to display. I'm going to display. See, address I will get this. I will get this address through this. Now, whenever we try to display the employee 1, 2, and 3, there you will get the address. But you need to write here the. You have to write the.
String for.
Okay, here whenever we are trying to display that,
Sir.
there you can write the.
Into string.
Yes. So here you can try to display.
Sir, address. Sir.
Name plus salary. Okay, here the
Yes.
plus.
Plus.
And finally I will put here the address.
Address.
Okay, as I try to display address, it will go to the toString and it will again return that one.
Yes.
So it will club together. So this is how I have tried. Now you can simply observe here the output. Yes, you can see into the employee first one, you will get the Hayat Nagar Road, Pune. Into the second, you will get that one and the separately one. Here I have not given any value.
Yes, sir.
It is getting the null value one. This is exactly the dependency. Now the first thing which we observed, as we started, there was the loosely coupled thing we observed. There was only one problem. What was? Object creation logic. Now here, that is again getting. Now, here someone asked me, sir, we can create object of employee. We can create object of address. Why you are trying this? Yes or no? Sir, basic object, to create the object, there no that much efforts needed, na?
Yes.
Yes or no? Then why we have to create the object? Yes or no? So here like see, assume like a address object is there, address class is there, and that address class is not yours. What I'm telling? Address class is not yours. It is provided by some frameworks like ORM, Hibernate, okay, or JPA data, or some Spring Security, or some Spring Test. They have created that class, and that I have to use. That I have to use here. So why? And it is been used by employee class. So why to create object of the address? Only I have to create object of employee, because employee is mine. Employee is mine. I have to create object of employee. Why should I create object of address? It should be managed by someone internally. I should not think on that. That is reason. So in our case, assume like I have to work with ORM. I have to work with a Hibernate. Okay, we have so many classes implementation. That classes we have to use into our Spring application. We have to use our Spring application. So if dependency injection mechanism is not there, explicitly for all these classes we have to write the code. Explicitly we have to write the code. For example, if you guys know the JDBC, okay, so you know the class.forName, son.jdbc.odbc. like that one, okay, or the driver name, class.forName, then connection con is equal to driver manager.get connection. Driver manager class is not my class. It is provided by JDBC. Why should I create object of that? I should concentrate on the performing the CRUD operations. To insert the record, to update the record, to delete the record, to select the record. Why it is asking me to create object of this? Why it is asking me to load the driver? Everything should be happen internally. So if I want that should be happen, I will configure that classes into the configuration file, system, container, Spring, internally manage that, and it will provide us. I can use only into my required class and it will work. So that is what exactly objective of. So here the basic way, in the basic scenario, might be dependency injection mechanism. You can say that it is not useful, but internally in the abstract way, it is very much important. Okay, like in the framework. Now coming to the MVC architecture. In the MVC architecture, we have the controller layer, we have the service layer, we have the DAO layer. Okay, controller layer is invoking the service is invoking the DAO. That means what? Into the controller, I have to create object of service. Into the service, I have to create object of DAO. Why I have to create object? I don't want to create objects. I will tell to the container, hey container, yes, please create object of these service classes, DAO classes, okay, and manage for me. I want to use that. Okay, so that explicitly you as a programmer, you don't need to create object. It will internally create object, inject the references, and that you can use. Getting? So that means what? Controller class have the dependency as a service. Service class has a dependency of a DAO. So that internal dependency will be get managed. Again, this is the chiller one, guys. This is the chiller one. Okay, explicitly we have to write all these values, everything. As we go ahead with the annotations. Into the agenda I put in annotations.
Yes.
So there we have the annotation @ component. We have the annotation @ component. If only within a class of employee, above the class of employee, class employee we have to put @ component. Container will understand this is the bin class. Container will understand this is the bin class. It will create object of that. Getting what I'm saying? As we use @ annotation, here we have to configure that into the configuration file. But if you use the annotation, just put the @ component and it will understand, okay, this is the component class, this is the bin class, which object I have to create. The container will create object. There is another one annotation, @ service. @ service. It is all the service layer classes should be annotated by using a @ service. So if you annotate it by using @ service, container will understand this is my class, service class, where business logic is being created, but my developer is not interested to create object. Container will manage object. You don't need to configure into the XML file. Then we have the next annotation, repository, @ repository. @ repository. Repository, all the DAO layer classes should be annotated by using @ repository. All the DAO layer classes. This means what? @ repository will tell to the container, hey container, I am the repository. I am going to communicate with the database. I'm going to communicate with the database. Repository is used to communicate with the database. So at the rate repository annotation, tell to the container this is the class which is going to communicate with the database, and object of that I have to manage. Getting what I mean to say? So it is very much easy when we go ahead with the programming with the Spring. That makes you very easy. That makes you very comfortable. You can only concentrate on the logic, business part. Is it clear? Agrees everyone? Any question? Any doubt here? Okay. So now here you have to try the dependence injection through the constructor, that dependent object, and there is the problem. Sir, here there is the auto wiring mechanism is there. We have to auto wire. Here we have given the name. Here we have given the name to auto. Here that dependency automatically. Here you can observe inside the employee class. Okay, here we have given the name. Here we have given the name. What is the name? Okay, address. Okay, and it will inject that dependency here automatically. It will inject that dependency automatically. Or here, okay, we can say here into the employee one, I have given the name and that one is the address. So that will be get given. Okay, but there is auto wire mechanism. This dependency can be injected automatically. Dependent object dependency will be get injected automatically. Like here the address, we can auto wire, and that it will be automatically inject. It will automatically inject that dependency. So auto wiring can be by type, by constructor, like that one, or the no auto wire is there. Okay, so it will inject that one. So that we can discuss as you done with this. So we have the next 7 minutes. Okay, over 5:15. Okay, try this. Do it fast. ये बन गिरा?
कॉल आ रहा था सर किसी का नंबर.
पीपल यार परेशान कर रहे हैं ना. It is going on. These are my students.